Welcome to The Downside. Our guest is here. You've heard her before if you're a fan. She was on the episode with who, Russell? Little trivia.
Oh, I don't know. I wasn't there.
Ian Lara. Wait, you don't
deep.
listen to the episodes when you're not on?
No, man.
Great.
So I
No
don't listen to
way.
the episodes I'm on. Do you listen to the episodes?
You
you're-
listen to the
Yeah,
episode?
I got to pull the fucking clips. Well, how do you think this functions? You think a magic fairy does all the stuff?
You watch the episodes back?
I listen back.
That's why you're always walking around all glum.
Yeah, I'm just like, well, no clip here. Russell really did not do a yes and on that riff. You got your phone all good?
It's all good. I'll make sure it was
Welcome to
off.
The Downside again. Welcome to Downside a million times. This is the place where we can get negative, we can complain, we can kvetch, we can bitch, we can moan. My name is Gianmarco Soresi. I'm here with my co-host Russell Daniels.
Hi. Hi, nice to meet you, Jordan.
Hi, I was you last
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it was a non-traditional, and I remember we never had you as a formal guest.
That's right. I just was the host, and we had Ian Lara on right
had-
after his mom passed away. Very intense.
Yeah, it was literally
Whoa.
he came from the funeral to the pod, and we said, "Talk to us about it."
Wow.
And
was-
no,
No, I know. But
No, you're right.
yeah.
That was the right reaction.
we've also had your podcast co-host Ian
Ian.
Fidance
And
twice. He's co-hosted before. He's co-chaired before. He really takes the lead though. He's
Oh,
the only
you
co-host
think?
where I have to say, "Stop touching the box, Ian. Stop pressing the buttons."
oh yeah, he
You
likes
can't
the buttons
resist
a
the
lot.
buttons. I'm having a chaotic day. I tried to. I literally. So I have this new air conditioner. That's why it's cool.
I see it.
Thanks for noting, Russell. Thanks for saying thanks. But
Is this your apartment?
this is here's the problem. Everyone always asks, you know, those questions on a podcast where everyone always asks the question, and then every podcast episode I have to recount. It was Tova's place, and now Tova's in my place, and this is Tova's thing. The listener,
You
doesn't
guys
give a
live
shit.
together in your place?
Yeah,
That little place?
yeah,
Wow.
yeah,
Jeez.
yeah.
That's wild.
I've done worse.
How?
Ooh.
We have it's a plenty. You went in the podcast studio. There's a bedroom too. We don't sleep in the old podcast
I feel
studio.
like it was this size, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, what do you need to live in a mansion? You live with another person? When was the last time? Have you lived with a guy?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How big of a place were you staying?
It was quite small, but I was 23 years old. You live in a place this big. You tall ass Amazonian motherfuckers live in.
Amazonian. The word Jewish as fuck. Amazonian.
You and Tova are like the tallest people ever. You guys tower over.
Tova is
people.
5'8". What are you? 5'7"?
No, she's taller than me. I'm 5'9". Oh, maybe she wears heels.
No, she certainly does not wear heels.
At
I'll
Moon
tell you
Tower,
that.
she was moon towering over me.
She is not wearing heels. I'll tell you that. I think I'd probably be better in heels than Tova would.
She's not.
How
yeah,
tall is
that's true.
she?
Boy.
Oh
She's
my
5'10".
God.
Blue eyes, beautiful, 5'8". 5'8".
She's not 5'8".
If she's 5'10", there's no way she's 5'10". She'd be in the WNBA 5'10".
I'm 5'9". She's taller than me. Because
I'll text her right now. We don't have
Text
to
her.
play a Mr. Game. So the thing is, I went to go put in the AC. I thought there were all these other things in the box. I thought I could just smush it in the window, smash down the window, we're done.
Yeah.
And then there was all these metal things, and I didn't know what to do. And I was like, let's just forget these metal things. I put it in there very clearly. You
Needing
need
the
these metal
Yeah,
things.
you need those.
And I had to get a TaskRabbit, so they're coming at 5:30.
Oh, that's really.
Wait, so wait,
upsetting.
this is on, but it's
on, but it's leaning against the glass.
Why
Glass
didn't you
could
just look
shatter
up
any
a
second.
how-to video? You guys are. This is do you know how
don't
many-
don't loop me into this.
The amount of comedians who have
Russell,
installed their AC,
please.
it is a square hole with a square box. You know what I mean? Put the box in the hole.
But the box is the box is not big enough.
Box
to
has
fill the whole
directions
hole.
on it. It's easier than an IKEA dresser. Just you do what it says.
He literally used to be a carpenter. Okay,
I
so
know, but that's why when
that's
people
like a
can't do
doctor
this,
saying, like, just
I'm
replace
the
the
dumbest
artery.
retard on the planet. I'm the dumbest idiot. I can build a house. You can't put a goddamn AC.
Thanks for
Didn't you
changing
go
the R word
school?
to idiot, Jordan.
Sorry.
Well, no, that's great. That's a real progressive movement we got there. I love.
Sorry.
No, it's fine. It's fine. No, you listen. You wouldn't be the first. Russell. Oh my God. This is a chaotic start, but Russell had a story. I wanted Russell to tell the story because I feel like
I
it tops
texted you.
anything
Yeah,
I got.
I texted. So I'm doing the show, and
He's in a show off Broadway, Titanic.
it's a musical. And the other day, it was a while ago. This person in the audience came up to me after the show, and I they were big. They were maybe the biggest person I've ever seen in my life, and they
Fat?
yeah,
Oh,
yeah. Well,
okay.
I was trying to be nice. I guess fat's not bad.
We say
I'm fat.
big as in
Fat.
comedy, like Chappelle's big.
Oh yeah. No. They
yeah.
were not famous.
Okay.
They were.
They might have been Ripley's.
They
but
were
not
fat.
famous.
They were fat, and I'm fat.
All right, take a break.
They were,
Go on.
but they were fatter than me, and which is fine. I talk to anyone, and
It's very inclusive of you.
but they came up to me and they were like, "Can I?" They had a look in their eyes like they were going to say something really sweet to me, and they're like, just wanted to say that body representation matters. That's all they said to me. They said nothing about my performance. They just looped me and them in the same. We're in the same boat, same
How'd they say it?
sinking
Say-
boat.
What was the
Like-
tone?
I mean, what do you mean?
Like, how did they say it?
Yeah,
Like,
what'd they say?
They were like, they waved me down, and then I was like, oh hi, and they were like, they put their arm on my shoulder, and they're like, body representation matters, and did that, and then like walked away.
How big were they?
I mean,
That's such a mean thing to do.
I know. Well, that's what I'm saying is like,
why?
no,
To
listen,
randomly go up to somebody?
it would have been fine if they said this. Loved your performance. You were so funny. Great to see another big person, fat person, whatever person up there. Like, I would have accepted that. That's fine. Like,
Because it's what they're saying is you were in this because you're fat.
yeah.
That's good.
And also,
it's like,
that's
it's
not
like going up to a
it.
black person and being like, affirmative action matters.
But I'm saying, if a white person did it, no, but it's not exactly that. They didn't say he got it.
Oh,
because
you're
he was
right, if a
Fat.
black person did that.
What if he went up to you and they said, "Hey, great performance." What did they use to reinforce the stage with? Because I'd love to be a
I
performer.
mean, that would be
too.
hilarious. I think that I would be like, you're my friend now.
This
That we're
is
hanging out.
the downside.
1, 2, 3. Downside. You're listening to The Downside.
The downside.
With Gianmarco Soresi.
Thank you for listening. If you're a fan, join the Patreon. Okay, we need some money. Patreon.com/downside. Extra episodes, live episodes, including the one we just recorded at Just for Laughs, coming out soon. And my clean comedy special, The Rats Are in Me, patreon.com/downside. And if you want to see me live, join the email list in the show description. Jordan,
Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
I'm
Who are you
texting
texting the next
Gianmarco.
podcast you're late for?
I'm always late for podcasts. I don't know how to.
What is that? That's not a
I
statement.
don't know how to do time. It's like,
You know what? You're not late for seller spots, so yes, you do.
dude, my first 6 months there, I was like in big trouble all the time. It was crazy. It took me forever to figure it out. If I don't know where I'm going and the thing says 36 minutes, for some reason in my head, I'm like, that is 28 minutes. That's what that is.
So when you're breaking it down like that,
I know.
I
it's
think
tough.
I have trouble listening to it because I go, "What the fuck are you talking about?" So don't do that.
I can't help it. It can't help it. It's like it's something that happens. I think I've talked about it on Jim and Sam because it's a morning show and I'm always like an hour and a half late for them. And I think it's an ADD thing. Like I'm out the door and then I see something like a sticker is stuck to my, the door frame, and then I got to get it off. I got to get the sticker off, and then all of a sudden 12 minutes has passed. I've like just been sitting there thinking while I'm scratching the sticker, and then I'm like, oh fuck, I got to go. It's crazy.
We have a friend who's late all the time.
Who is it?
Oh.
Oh,
Yeah.
please. I can't. You don't know him.
Okay.
But it's hard. It's hard to accept that there's any justification for it.
Really?
Yeah.
That's me. Yeah. All my friends are so mad about it. I mean, the amount of like I need to sit down and talk to you, and I'm like, I know that I'm late. I've been fired from every job I've ever had.
Well, let me have the conversation with you that I'd like to have with my friend.
Please.
It's interesting. It makes you so mad. It doesn't make me as mad.
Why
How
doesn't
is
it
that-
make you mad? Oh,
Why doesn't it make you mad?
I don't know. It just doesn't really. It doesn't make me mad.
To me, because part of me wants to go, hey, I'd love if we could just decide what time, a different time. You want to do 15 minutes later? That's great.
Yeah.
But there's a thing of like, you're asking all of us to be there and then you come. Why not? This is just logic, living life, figuring it out. You need to change.
I don't. I have a job where it allows me to be late.
Yeah.
I've worked my entire life to get to a place where I'm allowed to walk in places late and not get in trouble. I have been a contractor, which I hate doing. I hate doing carpentry.
I hope this air
but I
conditioner
did that-
person shows up on time. I'll tell you that right now.
They won't. I did that job so that I could lie to people. I started my own business so I could say, hey, I have meetings till noon, so that I could show up for work at noon or at 1.
Are you still a contractor?
No.
Oh, okay.
No, I
She's
just
a very successful.
No, I know. I
podcast
just
maybe.
didn't know if side
Everybody has some.
sometimes,
no, never. I'm not a poor.
What was the name of your company that you started?
Lady Parts Carpentry.
Lady Parts
I
Carpentry.
had to make it that name because everybody thought I'd be a man showing up, and they hated it. I would show up, they'd be like, Jordan, that's good. And then I'd show up, be a woman, and they'd be like, uh-oh. And I'd be like,
You could really see the light leave through us.
oh, yeah. And then they would follow me around the whole thing. They would follow me around and make sure I was doing it right. It was awful. And I was like, I've been doing this for 10 years. You fucking can't put an AC in. It was so annoying. It was crazy.
I mean, even the women or just the guys?
No, women would hire me because they were like, I don't want dudes in my house while I'm in here alone. So they would hire
Sure,
me all the time.
that's a good angle
Yes.
for marketing.
Totally. But men would hire me just because they would see Jordan Jensen. And then I would show up and they'd be like, I don't know if I should sexualize you, if I should burn you on a stake,
Yeah.
if I should
Yeah.
hang you, rape you. No,
Oh.
they didn't do that.
Good.
But there were some times where I would show up and they'd be like, oh, and I'd be like, I don't know how am I supposed to
Wait,
respond to this?
What was that noise you just
Like it
made?
was
Was
like
that
a
a
Kind
sexual
of
thing,
like,
thing?
fantasy
oh, a
thing?
lady.
Sure, they
it
did
was
that.
crazy,
Oh.
dude. You know what it is? You put a woman in a tool belt and people go porn immediately.
Yeah.
Immediately. If
Yeah.
I'm walking outside, I've never been catcalled more in my life than when I have a tool belt. It's crazy. Like now it never happens, but if I put a tool bag on, people are like, "Oh, working lady, you got and dude, I would get so mad. I would hide all of even if I had painty pants.
What do you think that is? I'm trying to think. Like if I saw a woman in a tool bag, I'd say, "Could you help me with AC, please?"
Yeah.
I would never. Do they do tool things like I'll bang you, like that hammer?
Yeah, totally.
I'll screw you, driver.
Well,
I'm not a good cat caller. I've never done it. Russell, what do
screw
you say
your driver?
when you yell at women?
I don't use words much. It's just mainly like argy.
oh god.
Oh god.
I was with a friend, and there was a woman wearing a comic, and this woman wearing yoga pants with like a little like kind of see-through section or a
Yeah,
mesh like
yeah.
square. Who knows why?
I know about the
Fashion.
mesh square. Yeah.
And he was like, I like a slice of that pie.
He
That's
said
a nice
that to
little
her?
slice.
Wait, he said that to her or said it to you?
Said it to her, and
Oh
I
my
was sitting
God.
there like,
Sir.
this is where I'm supposed to do something. I'm supposed to go,
You're
hey
not supposed
man,
to do something
man to man, no. And
crazy. That would be crazy. I would be more mad at you than I would be at the cat caller.
the woman's like, hey,
Hey, shut the
what
fuck
the fuck
up.
is your problem?
Yeah.
Compliment my leg.
I can deal with myself here. You think I have a hole cut out just to not get attention? Fuck you, dude. I'll fight this guy myself if I need to. I'd be mad at you.
I've had a couple like there was one time I was with a friend of mine.
I'm sending this text. I'm listening. I'm listening really intently.
Who are you texting?
I have to text Ian Fidance.
What do you, okay, all right. God damn it. Did you ever fuck up anything while you were doing the carpentry?
Yes,
What
million
was
times.
what was the biggest fuck up?
Let's see. The biggest fuck up. That's really tough. Actually, ironically, Ian fucked up a job pretty good for me while I
What
was.
did he do?
He just cut through a load-bearing wall, but I was.
Like when you say load bearing, you mean the building is maintained structurally?
Yeah. So I had to go in and quickly put a post up in there. What's the worst thing? You know what I probably did that was fucked up is I laid this woman wanted a cement floor, which you can't do in New York. You can't lay it that thick without reinforcing it from the basement. So I was like,
Sure.
okay, we'll do a skim coat of the cement over plywood. And I thought I had it down. I thought I had made it thick enough, but it wasn't thick enough, so the whole floor cracked.
Oh.
That's probably the worst thing I've done. That's probably the worst. Like,
Will you ever get scared that you're going to do something, then she's going to make dinner and falls through the floor and dies?
no, I make sure that. I mean, that's the hard thing about New York is you open up a wall, all of a sudden you see that somebody's hooked up the wiring, all fucked up, right? And you're like, if I shouldn't have opened up the wall, but if I close it up, I'm going to be staying up all night with my OCD, being like, oh man, I should have fixed that. I should have. So then you go in and you're like, fuck, now I have to undo all this all this fat person's wiring.
Yeah, that's what I was stressed with this AC is leaning against the window.
AC's scary.
And all day I was scared. I mean, this one is not going to fall, but I was scared it was going to break the glass, and I've just been thinking about that all day.
Break the glass?
Like, because it's leaning against the window, and I was imagining I was going to come back here, glass would be shattered, Tova would kill me, and it'd be a mess. So
I'm always scared when I put in ACs on a second floor or third floor that I'm going to mista somebody.
Mista.
Yeah. What is it? Happy Gilmore when the Mista, get me out of here. You don't know Mista lady?
No.
Wow.
Happy Gilmore.
Happy Gilmore. Yeah.
AC falls on the lady?
An AC falls on a lady at his mom's or maybe his aunt's grandmother's nursing home.
Oh.
And she goes, Mista. And he goes, I got to go help that Mista lady. You should know this.
I had one fall from a second floor.
You could have been sued for
I know.
damn
I
life.
fell but it was like in a alley between the houses, so no one was back in there, you know. But it fell and it smashed.
So you were good at your job.
Yeah.
Lady parts.
You know what I had? I had my mother. So my mom is like a master contractor. She's like the best. She's been doing it forever. And my dad, but my dad died. But my mom, I could just call and be like, I need you to walk me through this. And she would just tell me how to do anything at any time. You know what I mean? Like I could just be like, how do I reinforce this? And she'd be like, you got to go to Home Depot. Or she calls it Deep Homo. You have to go to Deep Homo. And then you got to get the, and I'd buy
Why
it all.
Deep Homo? Because there's a lot of gay
Home
people
Depot?
there? No, I know Home
because
Depot.
I think she likes Lowe's better.
Oh, I see.
She always changes the names. Wegman, she calls Wegwomans. Deep Homo.
That's a fun thing.
She's the best.
Deep Homo.
She's so funny.
Wegwomans.
What else has she got? Oh, she calls this fancy place in Ithaca Rich People's Pottery. It's called something like Rich's Pottery or something.
Uh-huh.
She calls it Rich People's Pottery.
Wait, where's she from?
Hugo White's. She calls Cuga Heights, which is where rich people live. What? Ithaca.
Okay,
She's
I grew
the
up near Binghamton.
Oh, I'm sorry for you.
I know.
That really sucks.
It's
Big difference.
Really, yeah.
Ithaca's like a beautiful paradise. Surrounded by goblins.
What, like nice... I know that shirt that everyone always used to wear. Ithaca
It's
is
beautiful.
gorgeous.
There's more
Yeah.
money.
What are gorgeous?
Gorges?
Yeah.
Waterfalls. Big waterfalls.
Oh, that's sweet.
Yeah, there's like a million waterfalls. There's lakes. The houses are beautiful. It's like it's like a mecca surrounded by Syracuse sucks, Buffalo sucks.
Yeah, and that's where you grew up,
I grew up in Ithaca. Yeah.
in Ithaca.
Mm-hmm. Well, I grew up. That's the thing is I grew up outside of Ithaca, Lansing, which is like trailer park.
Yeah.
And I had the lesbians in town. So I had my dad in the trailer park, and then I had the lesbian crunchy side. You know what I mean? So I had both. So I was like trash, and I had the nice stuff.
So
Not nice, but like the
How old were you and your parents split up?
I was 2.
You were 2.
Yeah.
So you, like me, you don't have any memories of them together.
I have memories of them during the divorce because it took about a year, and I have memories of that, of the feuds during the divorce. But I don't have memories of them together. Absolutely not.
Were they fighting over custody or just money?
Everything, money, custody. They were crazy. I mean, my dad was just like, he just snapped when my mom left him, and he just became like, he was like, I hate her because he was really in love with her. And so he became crazy towards her. But then she was like, you're crazy. I got to take the kids away. And then he double snapped.
The kid stuff, I mean, I watched my dad with my sister, my little sister, in the custody battle. And I mean, it really fucked him up.
Yeah.
He wanted full. Did your parents end up having joint custody, or did your mom have full custody?
My mom represented herself finally and got full custody, and then would send us to him like on the weekends or whatever.
I think I'm not saying it's anyone deserves custody, but I think like seeing your kid and the other person has full custody must be torturous because it's so much power to wield, to be like, you can see the child today, but not overnight, or this, that, and the other. It's hard.
It's also, my sister's going through this, and it's like, she lived with this dude, raised kids with him. Raised Sophia till she was like, how old is she now? 3, probably, when they got separated. But she did everything. He like went to work, showed up, was like, I got to play with the kid, I guess. And now he's like fighting tooth and nail for joint custody. And she's like, dude, that's crazy. But you understand his side where it's like, this is my kid. I've been living every day with the kid. But
of course.
It is tough.
And once you give up the custody, you could work out a deal now, but you have full custody. You have the power to revoke a lot of things.
Right.
Like, I understand why people go to bat super hard for it.
Yes.
So your sister was, 7 years older than you?
7, yeah.
7. I did my research. And
Maybe 6, yeah. 7. How old is she?
Well, it depends. I mean,
Very
it probably vacillates depending on when the
does.
birthday occurs.
That's right.
Uh,
That's right.
my sisters have the same birthday.
Whoa.
So it's kind of perfect.
Really?
Yeah, I guess
That's
my mom
really crazy.
Mom gets horned up in November.
Yeah.
She's like,
That's
cream,
not.
cream pie November.
Even if you get horned up in November, it's very unlikely for your kids to be born on the same day. Just your
Well,
C-section.
my brother is 4 days after our shared birthday.
Oh,
So
shit.
I really think
really.
That's
I
why
think-
you're so punctual, dude. You're like, this is how things should be.
Yeah.
We line them up. My family has done this for generations.
So ultimately, you did see your dad sometimes.
Oh, yeah.
What was the schedule? Did you have a
It was
set
awful,
schedule?
dude. I hate that shit.
Oh my fucking god! That fucking motherfucking
Don't
camera.
worry, we got it over here. We're fine.
All right, I'm gonna you can see her. Let me turn it a little. I hate running a podcast.
Yeah,
Tell
you
me,
should,
what was
you
your
should just
schedule?
rent out a studio. You have money. Oh my God, we have that rat. Oh, we have a rat that's sitting on a toilet though, reading a newspaper in our
I mean,
studio.
you have a rat. That's a stuffed mouse.
Which are taxidermy.
Oh, we
a
have a
taxidermied mouse.
taxidermied rat in our podcast studio.
Wow.
Really?
Yes.
Did you do it yourself?
No, we ordered it. We bought it.
Oh, I did this.
You taxidermied that.
There's a
mouse?
class you can take. We had an episode with a taxidermist who was then featured in the New York Times like 3 weeks
You
later. I don't know if you saw
taxidermied that mouse?
They did the actual taking the skin off the body, but so I had it like it was in a clear.
No. You stuffed a little stuff into a dead mouse.
I put the skin around a
I
thing.
don't like this. I don't like this.
You have it in your fucking thing. It's a rat.
I don't like that. You
It's
did
even
that.
bigger brain than this thing. It had more feelings. It probably had a family.
Do
You're the criminal here.
Do you think they killed it on purpose to be taxidermied? I don't want to know. Don't tell me.
She told us, but it's not good. I think it comes dead.
Oh
Yeah.
God!
It
you
comes
know?
dead.
Yeah.
But it
She
was like a
doesn't have to
peaceful
kill it.
death, and they gave it like a last meal. And
Put that gum down. Don't touch that. That's awful what you're doing. It's awful. Thank you so much.
so,
I
what was
would
your
go
schedule?
5:30 on Wednesdays and then every other weekend, I think, or maybe every
5:30 on
weekend.
Wednesdays?
5:30 on Wednesdays. I'm going to pick you up at 5:30, and then on weekends. And they were the worst week. I mean, it was so annoying.
You know what my dad would do that I always hated when he would pick me up at my mom's house. They had a contentious.
Oh yeah.
It was bad. But he would always be like, "Can I use the bathroom?" And I was like, "We live 3 minutes away. You are doing like the most animalistic. Like I'm going to take a shit here."
That's awesome.
And it was awful.
That
Wait, was
rules.
it
It was
always a
awful.
shit, or like he just wanted to like go into her space to be like?
Yeah, maybe it was just a piss, but it
You know.
feels like whatever that impulse was, it's the same one dogs have. when
Yeah,
they go
yeah,
to
yeah,
new
yeah,
territory.
yeah.
Did you ever ask him why he does that? Why he did that?
No, I've always been very uncomfortable with talking poop stuff.
Oh yeah, you are uncomfortable about that.
I'm more comfortable. I was saying to Tova the other day, I said, I'd rather my mom tell me like, yo, I got railed last night than I took a big dump this morning.
Why are you weird about it? Did something happen?
No, I think I'm just very like adverse to, I think smells. I'm very adverse to it.
You could ask your dad, why did you always want to go into mom's house to go to the bathroom? Was there an ulterior motive? You don't have to be like, hey, how big? What was the size?
No,
and
because he would
shape of your
deny
kids?
it. He
You
would
don't-
deny it. There's no point in asking him fucking anything about his internal logic. I don't think he fully understands it. I think he doesn't understand. He'd be like, wait a second. Oh my God, I take a shit at all my ex's houses. Interesting.
I think you could. I think people are more able to. If you recall,
Not my father.
Really?
Not my father.
Let's call him.
He's in therapy three times a week.
Why?
I don't know. He's fucked.
What do you mean? Why is he in therapy 3 times? That's obviously an emotionally stable person that puts himself in therapy.
I think he's the kind of person that doesn't change his behavior, so he wonders why the things he wants never happens.
What does he want? Love.
He wants like he always wants this idea of me, my sister, and him as like a family unit, but we'll never visit New York. He'll always plans, always wants me to give him my avail. When are you in New York? When can I visit? And then I do, and then it falls. And then it fails. He's a workaholic too. And I hate people that prioritize work over social relationships.
Yeah.
So
Guy who walks into cellar does not say hello to anybody. And
that's
just
a fucking bullshit.
literally
That's
goes like this. He
fucking
goes like this.
bullshit.
He goes like this. Beelines all the way to back. Opens a laptop. Headphones. Done.
I have improved a great deal. I acknowledge that. We don't talk enough for you to fully realize the journey of my growth, but I've
No,
grown
for
as
the
a person.
last-
Have I grown as a person?
I will say he's gotten a lot better, but I could see how it's not in
I
some
think you
people's
got
minds.
worse. If I'm being honest.
What are you talking
I think
about?
you used to show up at the cellar and be used to sit down with people, talk, and now you
we
look mad all
we-
the time.
We talked like recently.
Yeah.
Part of the reason you were top of mind to come in today was because we
I
talked
talked
recently
to Tova,
about. Okay, that's an
next to
extension of me
you.
as far as I'm concerned.
and then you went, see ya. and left, and then you texted me and said, "Hey, do the podcast."
Gianmarco.
No, hold up. I got to the cellar. Jordan was following me for the brunch show, and she said, "How's the audience?" Which is always a tough question to ask. I don't know what
You
people
could have
want
answered
from
it
me.
honestly. They sucked ass.
They were fine.
They sucked.
They were
fine.
fine.
Means they sucked.
But here's my options. I could either tell you they're great, and then if you don't do great, you're mad at me because I set you up to feel
Why would
bad.
she-
Right? Never say that.
Okay.
Okay,
That's a
You
comedy
see?
thing.
Okay, I see.
Or
Say-
I could
this is-
say they stink. So if you do well, you feel like you're better than me.
Great.
Or I say they stink, and you go in your head, you go, "Oh no, I'm gonna have a bad set. I want to set you up." And I didn't say either. I said they were fine.
You know what? I'm realizing what happened.
What?
I thought you said they're fun.
Oh, I did not say they
Oh.
were fun.
I thought you said they're fun because I got up there and I was like, "Oh wow, they are whatever. They're fine. They're okay, but
They're
they're
fine.
the
They're
opposite
fine.
of fun.
They were
this
fine.
is not a fun audience." But now I realize.
What do you expect the brunch show to be? Oh, this is the tape.
Dude, I don't do it
Sometimes I
that much
know.
because I'm always late, and she stopped booking me on it because I'm late for every spot there.
You show up for the
And-
late night spot. She's like, "You brunch today."
Yeah, totally. Liz has to text my house. She has to text me and Ethan and go, "Wake up. You guys have to be at brunch," because we're so late for everything.
You know what
And
else?
we're up.
Here's another thing I have a problem with late people. I'll tell you this, because I go, if I did that, I'd be out.
That's not true.
It's 100% true. And so I go, I think the fact that you can exist while being that late all the time, it's like you had a bigger dick than me, and you're always just walking out with it, and you walk out and you hit me in the leg with it as you walk by. I go, okay, we get it.
Yeah.
You got a big dick.
Totally. I would feel the same way if somebody was late all the time. I mean, it's crazy. Our producer, Ethan, went on a date with a woman, and she showed up like half hour or like 20 minutes late, and he was like, "I'm done." And I was like, wow, if that was a barometer for me, I would be,
First date,
wow.
how late you showing up?
First date?
Yeah.
Me?
Are you making
No
any
matter
effort
where
on the
I'm
first
going-
date to show up
I
on
don't
time?
go on dates, but I'm always late. There's never a time unless my managers lie to me and tell me everything is half an hour.
Good for them.
Yeah, it's great.
Yeah.
It's great.
You're okay.
I'm on time. I've gotten better, I think.
You have gotten better.
Yeah. See?
Yeah, I've gotten better with being Ian just because they've both have so many times been like, "Dude, please, for the love of God." My least favorite thing is Ian shows up and he goes, "Sorry, I'm late. I got everybody food." And I'm like, "I don't believe you." And then I look and he has a small meal for himself. And he's like, "Oh, I thought we'd all share it." And I'm like, "There are 4 people here. Don't lie." I show up and I'm like, "I'm retarded. I shouldn't have been late. I got stuck organizing toothpicks that I needed to do before I left for some ridiculous reason."
I feel like we're going to have to make the R word the title of the episode at this point.
I should say it less. This is my mom.
No, it's who you are.
Who
Call
you
it
are.
Home Depot. Call it Diploma.
I
That's what
had a joke. I had a joke with that word in it, and Tova was not happy.
Yeah.
Tova doesn't make too many comments
Man,
on my
Tova's
comedy.
really got the bit in your mouth, huh?
I know.
She's holding on to those bridles.
Well,
from-
you know, the worst part is I'm like, no, I'm going to do it to defy
was the
my
joke?
girlfriend. It's not funny unless I say it.
Uh-huh.
So say it. Who
Mm,
cares? Retard is fully back. Che says it.
What the? How the fuck is that? Is that the barometer for
Because
me?
Che's
What does
gotta-
Michael Chase say it? I get to say
Che's
it
got
too.
the lead. Well, not the N word, but yes, they have a bit of a leash on them. They can't really go crazy off the rails too much. That's my barometer. I'm like, if the SNL people are throwing retard around, I got to lose it and start saying the N word. You know what I mean? Now it's hack.
Here's my thing. If I'm being honest if we're talking about like the levels of getting in trouble online, you're a woman, Ian is bi. These are 2 things that I think are a soft barrier to getting canceled or getting in trouble online. I, however, am a straight white man, and
You should just.
I think I got to be a little more thoughtful. That's all.
Okay, so what
Do
was
you disagree? Do you
what was the
disagree?
joke? No, I think I know what you're saying.
You know what I'm saying?
But also I feel like I don't know.
You're like that. You only say the F word off the air. It's not going to work. Okay, so
Okay.
can we all be supportive if I say what it
Be
is?
supportive. Yeah.
I say, and this is based on a true story. Basically, so the true story is that like someone in 5th grade called another kid that, and the science teacher got really upset and started crying. Started crying. Went up to said, "My brother is mentally disabled. Don't you ever say that word!" And tears in their eyes. And it was like an early moment of don't say a word.
Mm-hmm.
Is in middle school.
Yeah.
And I grew up in a very progressive, environment. But my joke is basically I never say the R word, and I say it because when I was in kindergarten, I called my best friend an R word, and he started crying. And he said, "Hey, my little brother's an R word." So I never said the R word again, except for just now 4 times. And then I go, and then later I ended up, thank you. Do you see what she did? She understood that I wasn't on stage,
Yeah.
and she enjoyed it,
Okay,
as opposed to you who just dies behind the eyes. Fuck, man. And then I ended up meeting this kid's little brother. It turns out he was not mentally disabled.
Oh.
And I say mentally disabled.
Did he just have
it
the
turns out
autistic butt?
he just thought that was the word for adopted.
Nice. I've heard you say that, I think.
He was, if it's a 1 a.m.,
Yeah.
And then
Why
I go,
doesn't
and
she
then
like
the
that joke?
final tag is he was R-worded from Ukraine. And
That's funny.
That's great. Why doesn't Tova like it?
I know it's bad that it's the only time. If Tova did it a lot, if Tova was constantly
It's
like,
the only time.
it's the only
We've
time
talked about another
Tova's
time.
ever said to me, like, I didn't like having my friends see you use a slur on stage. And
What is going? That's not the only joke that she said that with. I love Tova to death. I love her, but you gotta have boundaries.
I do.
Your boundaries have to be your jokes. That's the first boundary. She can rape you at night with a fucking 2x4, but you gotta have boundaries, dude, around your jokes.
Listen, I did not get rid of the joke. I just am
Okay.
thoughtful about it. But again, I have
got rid of the joke with the tattoo, and that's
Listen,
gone.
Every comedian makes decisions in terms of Louis used to. I bet you would not see Louis ever again. We'll see. He used to use the N-word on stage with some jokes.
No, he would use it. He won't. His boundary is he doesn't talk about Kitty and Mary. That's his thing. Doesn't talk about his kids anymore on stage since the cancellation. That's the thing, and he can't breach that. But that's his kid.
Oh, he had a great joke about in the last special about telling the kids about the divorce. You remember that one? He sat the kids down. And he's like, Mommy, you know how sometimes we tell you to not feed the dog and you still do it anyway? That's why we're getting divorced.
That's insincerely, right? Or
No, it's the most recent one.
No, MSG.
I promise.
MSG.
I don't think he did it at MSG, but he did it into the
Sorry.
filmed version of what the MSG was.
yes.
Not sorry, but it's whatever. Oh no, it's whatever the most recent was.
Oh, the MSG one. I don't know what that one's called.
Yeah, what is it? Sorry? No, there was one more after that, right?
You told me you watched it this morning and last night, and
I definitely watched.
he's a big. Lou.
I watched it at MSG, but I didn't watch the filmed version.
Yeah. The film version came out after. When was the last time you opened for him?
I think right before at MSG.
Mm-hmm.
But he's not. He's on break for a year, at
Is
least.
that a real break? He's really going to go for a break, whole year?
Yeah, it's already made it all this way. He hasn't done shit.
Do you
He's
think
upstate in his big ass house.
Could you take a break for a year?
Fuck no, dude. Not unless I was filming something that was mine.
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure.
Then I could. I could take a break
I mean, more emotionally than financially.
I could do it for my family. I've done that. I could take a break for. No, not. I'm
What do you
saying
mean for your family?
like when my
your
sister went through this divorce, I was like, if I need to move home for a while and help you take care of the kid, I would be willing to do that.
Really? That's very sweet of you.
Well, the kid is like, dude, this kid rules. My family is whatever, but this kid is like the.
You like being an aunt? I want to be
hate
an aunt.
I hate everything. This kid is. Dude, it's like my sister had my child. It's crazy. Everybody who meets the kid is like, that is. She's the most. She's a little fucking.
She's saying the R word. That was her first
dude.
word.
She's a little mafia baby. She rules. But I would have done that for her just because me and my sister turned out so fucked up because of the divorce that I would have done anything to be like, all right, let's get this kid okay.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, that's certainly. I always think I have a weird fantasy of like friends of mine get divorced and they have a kid, and I get to give them some advice of how to be better divorced parents.
Yes.
And I don't know if that's real. I mean, ultimately, I feel like the thesis of any being good divorced parents is you can't hate the other parent and raise your child well. It's literally impossible.
Yeah.
So you better figure out a way to. But then what happens? You go to court and you have this divorce proceeding, and when you're fighting for the custody of your child, you will say and reveal and betray everything.
You'll take
about that
every
person.
little bit of thing and make it and take it to the nth degree. I mean, it's crazy.
Yeah.
It's also like people who get divorced are people who. I think that a lot of times people who get divorced are the people who kept their relationship together for the kid. So they've had so much resentment. It's not people who are madly in love and then something happens and then they get divorced. It's like they have kids to save the marriage, so that by the time they're fighting over the kid, they're like, "Oh, I got a lot of shit to say about you."
Sure.
Yeah,
My mom and stepdad, they stayed together for a long time. My dad, though, I think my mom found out he was cheating.
Yeah.
That was it. But yours, do you think your parents stayed together for a while after? Was there an event, an inciting
So
event?
your mom left your dad, right?
Yeah, they were together forever on a farm, and they were doing construction together, and they were raising horses and stuff. And my dad was like, "This is my parent." All my dad wanted to be was like a cowboy with a cowboy wife. And then my mom was like, "I want more than this. I want to live in the city. I want to do shit." And then dad was like a pot smoker, and my mom was just like, "All right, I need a break from this." And then they had a coming back together, and then they had me during that time when they were banging.
Yeah.
That's the part that's crazy.
Yeah.
That, like, sure, come back together, give it another go. You gotta put that
Yes.
condom on.
Yeah.
Yes, totally.
Yeah.
Do
Wow.
you think-
My dad is not.
Wait, so your sister was older, so they had her. Then
they had her
then
at
they
glory,
were like took the
glory
break,
years on the farm.
and they were like,
horses,
okay, we'll take a break,
goats,
and then
yeah.
they
Horses,
wow.
goats.
Yeah,
Yes,
just
have
like
it.
Now, when they got back together, was it like, was it just one time, or like?
it was like, we're gonna see how this goes.
Oh, okay.
My dad probably was like, "I'm sorry, I'll do the things."
Yeah,
that you
yeah,
do."
yeah.
He always cheated on her. My mom cheated on him, and I think that they were like, "All right, we'll give it a go for the sake of my sister." And then they had
Yeah.
me, or then and they were like, "Well, my dad is he's persuasive. He's also like, he's very like what is it? Like romantic. Like
Yeah.
he definitely was probably like, this will help." And then my mom was like, "All right, fuck this. I hate this." And now I have this other little kid. And then she moved to Ithaca. And then so I went back and forth between Lansing and Ithaca. But it was like, by the time that went down, by the time I was born, it was just like, my mom was like, "Get me the fuck away from this dude." And
I think from
that's
the
when-
outside, it always sounds crazy when people have a kid to save the marriage. But I imagine when you're inside of it, it doesn't feel like that.
Well, you're also trauma bonding, right? Like,
Yeah.
you've broken up and now you're back together, which is the best love haze ever. Like, when you're coming back together and you're like,
Mhm.
"Oh my God, we saved it." My sister's coming in and being like, "Oh, Daddy's back." You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
and you're like, "Let's have another."
Yeah.
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 I remember one breakup I went through where, like, during like the extended breakup, there was one time we like crying in a coffee shop, and things were going, and I was like, both of us were like, "Oh my God, do you want to fuck right now?" Like,
Oh,
it was
totally.
so
The best sex
just
ever.
visceral,
fuck
and it
in
was
the
like,
coffee shop?
what? No, I think we went. If I was cooler, we would have gone to like the bathroom. But I think I'm like, ugh.
Yeah.
Did you have sex?
I think so. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
It was a while ago, but I'm
Dude,
pretty
so
sure.
many. Everybody I know, including myself, is like, we broke up, and I'm like, "How was the sex?" And they're like, "Really good." Every time.
Really?
Ask anybody if they went through a breakup what happens is you break up, your emotions are so activated, and you get so horny for some. I mean, this happens to me. I'll be in a fight with somebody, and I'll be like, "We have to stop this fight to have sex. This is my shit right now." But it's like,
I think I'm a little bit more of a bitch. I go like, I'm not making you feel pleasure right now. I'm furious. If it's a little fight, if it's a big fight, I think my theory is this. This is why I think like one night stands can be very fun.
yes.
They're not always, obviously, but I think there's a degree of like, this is not going to happen again, so let's do all the things that we want to do. Whereas when you're a long term, you're like, I'll eat ass later.
Yeah, we got time.
I got time. We'll do it after, different time. And then it never occurs. But with a breakup, I think it goes back to that visceral, like, better do it now.
I think there's also something hot about somebody having, like, for me, it's like, if I'm like, I want this to end, and the person's like, "No, please, no," I'm not horny. But if I'm like, "I want this to end," and they're like, "All right," and I'm like, "Oh, this is why I left you, because you didn't stand up for yourself. Let's have sex."
Interesting.
Yeah, I think there's something there.
You
Interesting.
ever have breakup sex?
No. Not
I've
because
only had breakup
just
sex.
never
I feel like
been
I've had more
presented.
breakup
You've
sex
never
than-
had regular sex?
No, I've only had it. I'm like, I can't. Every time I have sex is like a breakup sex. It's crazy.
You've been through a lot of breakups.
Yeah, I'm really. Yeah.
What,
What do you mean?
like, you
Always going through
you're a
Really?
relationship break, like, do you have an average of your relationship time? Like, do
year
you
and a
go
half.
like year and a half? what do you think happens?
What do I think happens? I think people think that I'm very secure because of how I act externally, but once I'm in a relationship, I am a child. Like I am a jealous, scared, needs so much attention.
Jealous?
Are there?
Jealous?
Yeah, I was going to ask specific
Of
things that make you
anything.
jealous. Oh, okay.
Of a dog. If you have a dog you love more than me, I hate that dog.
Are you super jealous about them being around other women as well?
Oh yeah, anything the worst.
It makes sense. Both your parents were cheaters.
Yeah.
They're cheaters, and they also were. They could once they split up, they just were broke, so they had to start their own because they had Jensen Construction. So when they split up, they had Construction and Jensen Development Company, and they had to start their businesses without each other, and it just so they were in competition with each other. Trying to tear each other down. Neither of them had any money, so we had nobody raising us. They were just working all the time. So I'm very like, and I loved them, right? So it's not like they were like.
That's a movie, by the way. Absolutely. Two compete a divorced couple competing with each other construction wise, sabotaging each other.
It was so crazy. Yeah.
Would they really? I mean, there wasn't enough air conditioners to install to be nice.
My mom, ready for this? So the farm I was raised on. My mom got a job from this guy who was like wanted a modern house, a hideous like no windows, white, monstrosity. And my mom said, "I have just the place for it," and showed him the plot of land across the street from my dad's farm and built it there. And my dad every day would walk across the street, bring him trees, be like, "Please plant anything to." He hated the house. It's hideous. I mean, we could pull it up on a satellite thing, and you could see my dad's barn and farm, and then just this monolith. And my mom was like, I mean, it was a war, dude. And he
so would your mom show up to work every day and
So
just
funny.
be hitting the hammer, just looking over there?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. And he was convinced that my mom burnt this house down on the property, which she didn't do, but he was convinced of that. And before he died, in his last dying weeks, he was lobbying the city to stop sustainable developers, which is my mom, to be able to build because he believed that they should he basically was in his last dying days, he was trying to get my mom shut down. It was crazy.
Wow.
I mean, that was their whole lives.
And he was ill, so he was like he knew he might be dying soon.
No, he didn't know.
Oh, it was a sudden death?
Sudden death, yeah.
Oh, a sudden death.
I mean, he just fell asleep, didn't wake up.
Ugh.
Wow.
He was very like, he was like a cowboy. So it really was like he worked all day, laid down with a dog, didn't wake. It was like, we have no idea how it happened.
Yeah.
It was very understood.
You didn't do an autopsy or anything?
They asked me, they were like, me and my dad's big thing, we both faint all the time. We
Really?
hate doctors. We hate blood. It's the hilarious thing about us is we pass the fuck out. And we were very close by the time he died. And they were like, do you want us? And I was like, the last thing my dad would want was his body cut open, burn him, give me the
Interesting.
ashes.
You weren't curious at all in case there was something medical that would help you to know?
I know how he died. He died because he smoked 2 packs a day.
Sure.
And by the end of his life, he was just laying foundation all day and, just eating, a Klondike bar at night and smoking cigarettes, passing out. And
was he fit from all the work? Like, did he have like a build? Muscles?
He was contractor fit. So he was like a barrel chested guy with he's like Bert Kreischer probably, but less pregnant. He's like, yeah, I mean, it's fit, but your heart is strained because your arteries are all clogged, and then you're lifting cement every day. It's just the perfect way to get a heart attack.
Yeah, I like the contractor fit.
Contractor fit, yeah. So it's like not fit, but it's like they can crush anything. It's like extremely strong, but not by any means. The blood is not flowing in the way that it should.
But the reason I asked is because when my dad was, says horrible things about my mom all the time. He's kind of over it now, but when he was going into his quintuple bypass, he said to me, "Can you tell your mom I'm sorry?" And it was it was more infuriating than it was cute. I was like, you could have really.
Yeah.
You drama queen right now. You could have done it at any point. And it's not like he meant one of the first things he said when he woke up, he said, "You didn't call your mom yet, did you?"
Oh my God.
Oh my
That is so
God.
funny. That's amazing. You have a bit about that? That's incredible.
Yeah, I have the heart surgery.
Oh.
That is so incredible.
But it was...
He went under and then he came back out and he was like,
He was like-
he was like,
Oh, I'm gonna be alive still. Okay, never mind. Don't call that
the
bitch.
thing I want in death. That is like waking up from a heart attack and grabbing a
Also,
cigarette.
he can't say that again. Do you know what I mean? Like when if he is on his deathbad, he's gonna be, oh, Gianmarco.
I'm gonna be
tell
like,
your mom, I'm sorry.
I'll call her right now, doctor. Hold on, he can survive 10 more seconds. Dad, we're gonna do this right now.
Can I tell you something? I'm going to be honest. I think what he was doing was he was having it so that your mom was like, oh, he was a good guy, so that she felt as bad as she could.
Maybe
It's like when you're fighting with somebody and you're like, I love you.
but I do believe that these. I always like. I see pictures of my parents in Italy. You know, I have I have the photo album from their wedding. I keep it on my bookshelf with the rest of my fiction. But-
Nice.
Thank you. You see, once again, we're practicing.
I just
laughed. Jordan, I understand that, like, okay,
Jesus Christ.
but I see these pictures of them honeymooning in Sicily, and my dad's wearing a little Speedo, and my mom's looking good, and I'm like, there is something that they love about each other. And, you know, this is a custody battle, all these things. My mom married my dad's former lawyer. Good attention. They got my kindergarten teacher fired for dating my father, and I guess she used to send love notes in my lunchbox back to my father. But there are lots of things. But there's something. They could have a good conversation. They could have a good dinner together.
Oh,
and
totally.
I think my mom would. I think my mom would be down to clap.
When's the last time they interacted?
I think
Like in person?
I think they like came to a comedy show, and my dad said something like, you know, one of these like, we did all right.
Mm-hmm.
And then he didn't say that to me after the show. My dad didn't say a single goddamn word to me after the show. But there's got to be something there.
What about
My family was the same way. My mom was like, I'll hang out with your dad all day long.
Uh-huh.
She was,
Was she? You can tell me to stop if you want to. When your father passed away,
sad.
was she, yeah? How did she react?
She was so sad. We were all so sad. It was me. I mean, the funeral was all my dad's exes. My mom, you
Just the
know,
whole section to the side.
everybody who was there was like somebody who dated my dad. I mean, he fucked everybody. But yeah, she was there, and his rugby buddies, and she was sad for weeks. I mean, she didn't respect him because he was like a pothead, and he thought he would be like the great American. He thought he'd be Hemingway, and his book sucked, and he thought he
sucked. It really sucked.
Yeah, I mean, they're written like like a guy who is obsessed with themselves. They're like Louis' movie, the I Love You Daddy movie.
I Love You Daddy.
Yeah, where it's like you got too big of an ego, and I can smell it. You know what I mean?
I liked I Love You Daddy.
I didn't watch it. I haven't seen it.
I liked it.
I just
and
heard about
I
it.
felt like all the critics' responses were. I mean, it goes without saying. It was impossible for them to review it other than to say like, he's waving it in our face. You know, like every review was so like.
Well,
It was truly a conflation of like the art and the artist, where it was like in that moment everyone had to be like, the art is bad because the person is bad.
I didn't see it, but I just heard that it has like a bit of an ego to it, a bit of a like I'm trying to be.
But I thought it really accurately showed that ego. I thought it really accurately showed like the kind of ego, because the older character, I guess, is like a Roman Polanski, Woody Allen type, and I felt like it really showed how that guy thinks they are justified in the world that they live in.
Was it Malkovich?
Malkovich played it, yeah. But it was so funny. Apparently, he offered it to Woody Allen, and Woody Allen was like, "Are you to your fucking mind? Are you to your fucking mind?"
Oh, because totally.
Woody Allen. I mean, my confession is I used to, because I've seen custody battles. I think I believed. Whenever something comes out during like a custody battle, I go, I do believe people lie in a custody battle because there's an obvious objective.
There's the best objective.
The best objective.
The best reason to lie.
But then I saw the Woody Allen documentary, and they show you footage of the young girl like recounting it, and you within a second, you're like, oh fuck, he fucking did that shit.
And you're like, for me, I was like, even if she's not telling the truth, whatever scenario she was raised in made her this fucked up. Like whatever it is, that dude was not good. You know what I mean? He did not provide a safe place for her to grow up. If this is how she's turned out, where she's shaking in front of a camera saying whatever.
The only part of the movie that I thought was funny because they show her mom's life, and like the family pictures, and at no point do they go like, it was strange that they adopted 10 people. There's no even like kinda.
Yeah.
It's just like, and here's the family photo.
It's crazy.
All 50
And
of
they're
them
not like
wearing
it is-
matching PJs. And you're like, okay.
Yeah, and
Something's
nobody was
weird.
like, and also Mia Farrow, bad mom, seems to be on Xanax all the time.
Sure.
Lobotomized even. Crazy. I just saw that Sound of Freedom movie last night. They got me.
You know,
What is
listen,
that?
I haven't done enough research, but it's fun to like this QAnon people, and it's propaganda.
Do you know how this is so crazy?
So it's a movie.
Okay.
It's
I've heard of
some
it now.
group that stops child traffickers. But I at least have listened to enough of my leftist podcast that the people producing it are very closely, if not fully associated with QAnon, that many of them have been accused of child trafficking in their own right, taking money for themselves. And it's become this, that's why people like Mel Gibson love it so much.
It
It's
is
just tied to.
They did the smartest thing. So basically, this guy had an amazing story. The FBI agent freed all these kids, right? And then Disney buys the rights to the movie, and they don't make it because QAnon people are like, because he's a pedophile. Probably because it's hard to make a movie about a pedophile. Also, do you want to make the story? Do you want to make the documentary? What do you do? They should have made a documentary. I mean, and then they made it. So then Angel bought it, and they're like a Christian group. They put the guy from Passion of the Christ as the main character, who is a QAnon guy, right? So already you're like, oh, this is a QAnon based thing. And then they proceed to make just a bad. It's just a bad movie, right? So AMC, Regal, or whatever is like, we only play good movies. That is what we do. And so then they start going, they're burying it because they're pedophiles. This is me and Pat Bridger went to see it yesterday. Listen to what Pat heard outside. He goes, he heard two people talking, and one guy goes, well, you know what, you know where the worst rules for child sex are. L.A. And he goes, and what's in L.A.? And the guy goes, Hollywood. And he goes, that's right. Like, that's what's so, you know what I mean? Like, everybody, and I went to see it. I gave them money. So now it's sold out because of all of this, all of the conspiracies. It's sold out. They made so much money.
Yeah.
And it's a bad movie. And it's a great story. So it's like, if they had made a documentary that was like, everybody would have gobbled it up on that our true crime shit. Are you kidding me?
And on top of it, so a lot of these things they talk about religious movies is like churches will buy out a showing and saying if you're part of the church, come see it.
Yeah.
But then people were showing videos of like empty movie theaters.
They're buying
and going
it out,
like
yeah.
they were accusing like the Hollywood people of buying it out so people can't see the movie.
Yeah.
And it was like, no, you fucking idiot. First of all, you can see a movie. You can't block a movie. But
It's also just a bad movie. It just shouldn't have
There's
made it
so much
into
money
the
to be
theaters.
made if you can get into that conspiracy wormhole because the brain will justify
incredible.
fucking anything.
The brain justifies just going to see it, which is just money in their pocket. And
You watched the whole thing though.
oh yeah,
Yeah.
totally. I watched the whole thing just because the story is very compelling, but the movie was just cringe. It was just a poorly made film with horrible actors, and But yeah, it was like what's crazy is I'm on Twitter and I'm trying to figure out what's going on with this, and I'm like looking into it, and then I get into my car. The driver picks me up to go to Miami, and he was like, "I'm not going to be here tomorrow because I'm the security for the two actors in that movie, and we're meeting Trump tomorrow." He was like, "Oh, I'm going to New York." And I was like, get the fuck out. And I asked him, he was like, you're going to cry the whole movie. They're burying it. All the Democrats are pedophiles. And I was like, oh my God. So then I went to see it. It sold out. Me and Pat get seats in like the first row. And I was like, oh my God, I did it. I did the thing that everybody did where I ate the Kool-Aid and then I went and gave them money. It's bizarre. But it's also, everything is becoming such a caricature. It's like a cartoon world at this point in the news that like just the fact that everybody is not talking about this amazing FBI agent who like that's so interesting, and that sex trafficking is going on, and we're just talking about the liberals versus Democrats is like expert level manipulation.
Well, we've really gotten. I think what's incredible about first, everyone's accusing everyone of being a pedophile. It really is like Nazis and pedophiles, and it's gotten to the point.
Where
I
it
think
makes you want to fuck kids.
Listen, the only plus side is people keep sharing my R. Kelly pedophile joke, and listen, that might be worth all this political unrest.
Yeah.
But it's like there are so many proven cases of pedophilia, whether it be in the church or whether it be like the Boy Scouts, and like somehow that doesn't come up constantly. It's always about the imagined network of secret. And I'm like, there's literally a bunch right here in front of you to go take care of.
Totally.
Also, they're always making it like it's not even just about the pedophilia. It's about like they're doing other things with the blood. It's like they're making it. Pedophilia is bad enough. We don't need to like then create this like mythological world where like they're draining kids' blood to then seep into Nancy Pelosi's tits. You know what I mean? Like, well, I don't. Yeah.
I just also think it's again part of it's the reason they like the imaginary ones is because then you don't have to fucking do anything about it. If it's the guy at your church, maybe you should go walk down there and say something. But if it's imaginary and it's elite, you can just complain about it and go see a movie about it and pretend that that's progress.
Oprah did the best thing she could ever, where she had a show on where she had all of these convicted pedophiles on. This is crazy, actually, on her show. And then she goes,
gave them all a free car.
Yeah, she literally was like, that's who they are. And everybody in the audience is like, oh my God. And then she's like, I want you guys to ask them whatever you want. And people ask these pedophiles questions. I was like, that fucking rips, dude. That's the question.
Did they know
that's the way to do it.
They were all coming on to do that?
Yes, they came on being like, I don't want to be a pedophile. I should have been put in prison.
Yeah, it was probably the last TV spot Kevin Spacey's going to do.
Yeah, he had to take the.
They were all comedians. They were like, hey, this is press. We need to sell some dates.
They were all like
What did they ask? I got to look this up.
I think that I don't know. I don't know what they asked.
Tova showed me this video on TikTok. Apparently, there was this old game show where they would do a lie detector test, and to win the next level of money, they'd ask you the question again, and you had to decide would you reveal in public the real answer or lie. And if you revealed the real answer, you got the money. Yeah. And it was like, for $500,000, do you believe that your father engaged in sexual relations with an underage woman? And she starts crying, and they cut to the father, and the father looks like kind of confused.
Oh my god! Oh my god! Oh my god! Oh my god!
What year is this from?
No, I like the 1500s, so it was okay. No, it was recent enough.
No,
and
love on a spectrum. I'm like, this is crazy that this exists.
But so so she starts crying, and she ultimately goes yes. And then they, as she's crying, they go, $500,000. And they gather around the family. The host is like, congratulations. We should probably discuss why you said yes. And she says, my father, he belonged to like a Mormon cult type thing. And a friend of his I said, would you marry the sister wife or whatever? She's 17. And the father then talked too, and they kind of moved on. They moved on in a way that was insane at the time, and now would never occur.
They moved on. We're like, oh, that makes sense.
It's like,
we're
and now we're cutting to a commercial. Enjoy that money.
Oh my God.
It was a long.
That is crazy.
That is so crazy.
It is a wild. Because they cut to the father going like, being unsure, like 500,000.
Oh my God.
Outed as a pedophile on TV. I don't know what to take.
I mean, the other thing with the pedophile is like it is like there is like an emotional stunting that happens. I do think this in Hollywood. You know how you like hear about like if you watch the Taylor Swift documentary, she's like a child.
Yeah.
Like they are stunted emotionally, and I'm like Michael Jackson, for instance, is like you're like I know he was fucking kids, but he was a babe. Like he had a kid's brain. And I think that that's a big reason why they're like Hollywood fucks kids, or like Leonardo is
to
like.
To a degree, I would say this even more. It's the same way that sports, like there's a lot of sports people who beat their wife or something. When you have industries where someone's success can become so important, Michael Jackson's success was 1,000 people's entire livelihood, and sold out stadiums and helped cities get stores. And I mean, like when someone becomes important in any industry, then that person will be so protected they can get away with crimes to an insane degree.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Whereas opposed to
which they don't have to deal with a lot of things, so they do become stunted. Like
and then they have a full team, and that team gradually covers up all these things. So whether it's Hollywood, whether it's a high official or in sports, or a high official in the priest, like I don't think it's these industries necessarily have more than other industries. It's just that you can have someone who is so protected and their crimes, the list of their crimes becomes so long and so storied and so many people that's why it starts looking like Hollywood. It's not that Hollywood necessarily is filled with more of these people. It's just that in Hollywood, you have a number of people who are important and whose existence and continued success makes money for a lot of people.
Yeah.
And that's why it looks like that. But the idea that these people go like, Hollywood's filled with pedophiles. I'm like, so is the McDonald's chain. So is gymnastics. So is everything. They're out there.
Yeah.
And you can pretend it's part of the world, but like there's ones it's in your family.
But there is a level of acceptance. Like there's okay, the parents who are like, I'm going to let my kids sleep in Michael Jackson's bed because he's Michael Jackson.
Mm-hmm.
That wouldn't anybody else would be like, you're not sleeping at that dude's fucking house. But because it's Michael Jackson, it's like he could change our lives.
But I'm sure it was also gradual. Again, like I think it's the same thing. Like from the outside, it seems like one day Michael was like, I'm going to have Timmy join me in my bed today. And what's your Michael Jackson impression?
Oh, I don't.
That wasn't an impression. That was just
that was Mickey Mouse.
That was a different voice. Okay, but like I think it was probably like pillow fight.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm tired.
Yeah.
You can just sleep here. Like
we don't need to act any more out. Actually, Gianmarco.
I think that have you seen the dating apps and you look at people that are your age? I mean, I look at people who are like, I'm like, okay, I want to date like a guy who's like late 30s, and then you talk to them and you're like, oh, I'm attracted to 26-year-old dudes who are like still saying dope and sick. You know what I mean? Because I'm stunted because I'm in a comedy world of entertainment where all of us are a bunch of fucking kids. And then I talk to somebody who's 40 and they're like, yeah, I run an ad agency. And I'm like, you are the dullest person I've ever. I hate that you have a cat. I hate that you have a cat. You know what I mean? And then you're like, oh shit, now I get how like why Leonardo DiCaprio only fucks,
I feel the opposite. I once went on a date with an age appropriate but younger woman, and we went out to dinner once, and she said to me, she was like, why are you so sad all the time?
Oh,
and I thought like
it's different.
I thought like
genders.
I was like, why am I sad all the time? Did you not listen to the news today? Did you not fucking, as your parents?
It's like Norm Macdonald's. Have you not experienced life? This horrible thing that we have to live every day. You don't have suicidal tendencies. Have you lived one moment?
I could. That's not my jam. I've almost always dated like exactly my age.
Yeah, I've never dated younger, but I'm just now that I'm trying to date older, I'm like, ooh.
Yeah.
I think it's got to be wild. I feel like my girlfriend I had in college, and then we broke up. Like she ended up marrying like someone who was like much older, and I think it's so interesting that you go through school, and school, like your entire social life and romantic life, is usually like the people in your grade.
Mm-hmm.
And then maybe in high school, a junior, maybe with a sophomore. And if a senior and a freshman, you're like, that's weird. And then you get out into the real world, and suddenly it's just like fucking chaos. And suddenly, like, I was like, it was more like I was dating someone, and we were both fucking, our lives were messes. We're both actors. And then suddenly, like, someone who's 32 is now he's playing the game too. I can't compete with a fucking 32-year-old.
Totally.
They have a life. They have a job. They have a career. And it's just I think it'd be a jarring experience. And I think more so for guys because traditionally it's the guy doesn't go out and on average a 32-year-old's like, hey, you want to hang out?
Well, I have guy friends who are like, or people that I have dated who are like, yeah, I'm going to date this 24-year-old who like is working in tech, makes way more money. And I'm like, yeah, I've been in like a vacuum of comedy forever. You know what I mean? Like I've literally been like stunted economically in every way because I've been in this like thing. So it's like, yeah, of course you're going to date the 24-year-old who isn't graying. It still has the stamina of a fucking stallion and makes more money than me. Fuck yeah. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's what's weird. Being a woman and aging into a group with a group of people who are all children. You know what I mean? And then those children, your buddies are dating like 23-year-olds and you're like, wait, who do I date? And they're like, I don't know, one of these children. You're like, what? What's happening?
Your mom dates younger or has dated younger?
She dates younger, yeah. She dates younger because she gets like sycophants and then dates them.
I see. That's my dad does. Like I was listening and it was similar. My dad, it's definitely younger. Were they younger than you?
I think one of them. No, they're all younger than my sister, though. My sister, yeah.
Oh, is that weird for your sister?
Well, it has been because they've been like friends before. One of them was her friend when they started dating.
If my dad dated one of my friends, that would be fucked. I would say you can't do that.
This
That's
was
fucked up.
complicated though because it's my mom and my other mom were together, and then my mom cheated on my. Okay,
Yeah, you gotta. Let me get a pen.
we'll do Shell and Kaz. Kaz cheated on Shell. Kaz then then Shell left Kaz for a woman that was engaged.
That didn't help at all. It made it worse.
Oh, sorry.
Wait,
What's your
Basically, my
mom's name is?
Basically, my mom's wife left her for another woman.
Okay.
That woman was engaged to another woman, and my mom started sleeping with that woman. But that woman was friends with my sister. They switched. Yeah.
Wow.
Because my mom was just like, we're sad.
When
you're
that
sad.
all came out, was that a big deal? Did it shake any relationships?
Yeah, I
like-
was really mad at my mom because my mom is very she's very take it or leave it with people. But Michelle, when she married Michelle kind of was my mom. Like my mom
Yeah.
was my dad was my boss, and Michelle was like mom. And I trusted everything. She showed me affection. She was just like my.
How long were they together for?
Probably 8 years.
Okay, wow.
And then, so when my mom cheated on Michelle, I was like, you actually don't get to do this. This is you cheat on everybody. You don't get to cheat on Michelle because she's like mom.
Uh-huh.
And then they tried to work it out, and then Michelle got with Donna, who I worked with because she worked for my mom, and I love Donna a lot too. So then,
Wait, was it okay? Donna worked for your mom.
yeah,
So was it kind of fucked up that Michelle hooked up with Donna?
yeah,
And obviously she was in the right. She was been cheated on, so she gets a whatever you want.
right. But also, yeah, I mean, but then Donna and Michelle just fell very hard for each other. So then my mom was heartbroken, but I was like, you deserve this.
Uh-huh.
You cheated on Michelle, who's never done anything wrong. And then, so then Donna and Michelle got together, love, and that's the three moms. So now it's Donna, Michelle, mom.
Uh-huh.
And then, so my mom then started hooking up with Donna's ex-fiance just because they bonded over how fucked up it was that Michelle and Donna were
How
together.
did they even? How did even the initial contact get made? Just because Donna worked for your mom.
They all knew
each other.
Yeah.
And how long was your mom and what's Donna's ex-fiance name?
Kristen.
Kristen.
So now Kristen, then they were together briefly, but my mom just she can't stay in relationships, so she ended that one. Kristen was great to me too, also very sweet. And Kristen's happily married, Donna and Michelle happily married, mom single.
How old were you when mom and Michelle got divorced?
Good question. I must have been maybe a senior in high school.
That's tough.
It was tough. It was really tough, but Michelle, the saint that she is, was very this is doing nothing. She still pays my damn phone bill. She's just like, I am your mother. I am in your life. I'm very close to her boys. We're still all very close.
Yeah.
And now a beautiful thing that was very moving is when my sister's husband cheated on her, they separated. It was like me, Michelle, Donna, my sister, all surrounding my niece and being like, we are a family, we are protecting. So that's really the family is just these 5 women. And then my dad is dead. My sister's husband is a piece of shit. So it's like
Your sister's husband, do you think, because I feel like your sister and you must be anxious about being with a partner who cheats on you. This has to be obviously no one wants to be cheated on, but just a fucking the prophecy has been fulfilled. Was your this guy, did you ever like him? Was it a surprise that he cheated?
he was I could tell that my sister was like, I'm choosing this guy because he's good. Now I'm pregnant, so I'm going to stick with it. He's a good, loyal man. I don't really like him. We don't get along that well, but he's safe. And when you date somebody safe who's not as intelligent as you, I think that dating somebody who is almost better than you or smarter than you or whatever is better. It feels more lethal because it feels like they could leave you, but they have the wherewithal to make decisive decisions. Whereas a dumb dude is just I'm going to take whatever comes at me because I have no masculinity. It's been taken away by this woman who is, doing better than me, is more intelligent than me, and puts me down. But my sister was like, I'll stick with him because he's going to be a good dad. But that doesn't really work out. It doesn't work to settle. It doesn't work because they know you're settling and then they rebel.
Yeah.
How'd she find out if it's not
It's
true?
so brutal. I mean, these women just blackmailed her. They were like, we have video. We need money.
Multiple women.
Oh yeah. It was
They
really
said we need money like in like a sympathetic way, like sorry to
They actually did.
blackmail you.
They actually did. Yeah. They were like, we tried to blackmail him and he shut down, and we did not want to go to you, and now we have to go to you. And my sister is
How much money were they asking for?
I think it was 10 G's.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
And what were they threatening to her? We'll tell. I mean, the threat would be we'll tell your wife. So what did they threaten her? We'll tell your kid.
I don't know. Tell everybody. I don't know. I'm not allowed to talk too much about it.
Sure.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
But
Yeah.
But
yeah, it's like yeah. So basically, but my sister's less. She's the cheater. So my sister picked up on my parents. They all cheat. I'm the one who's like
your sister
cheating
cheats too.
Yeah, she doesn't. She never cheat on him, but she's way more like them, where it's like
Yeah.
it's like you take it or leave it. I don't really care. I
Yeah,
don't
yeah,
dump
yeah.
people.
It's
I'm
like
the
my
one.
dad.
who's like,
When my
please
mom found out, he said, "This is who I am. I'm not going to change." That's a real like philosophy
Yeesh.
of the cheater.
Yeah.
don't. Yeah,
Yeah, just like a.
yeah.
But you
This is
could.
just-
You could just try it.
Exactly.
You could try to
You
change.
could be on time to things, but some people have things.
I think my dad was more like me, where he like cheated because my mom did, and he was like, I can too. I think he's more like me, where he's like, please stay, please stay.
Yeah.
Mm.
But I definitely have that, where I'm just like, please don't cheat, please don't cheat. But I've been cheated on before too. You make it happen. When you're afraid of cheating, you just make them cheat. They just inevitably cheat. If you're terrified of it, it happens. It's
Yeah.
crazy. Even with people who are like, I know that you're terrified of this, it's not going to happen. If you condemn somebody for something that they didn't do, they'll just do it.
It's all complicated though. If I say to Tova, like, listen, if you keep worrying that I'm going to cheat, I'm going to cheat.
But
That's
it's
not
kind
gonna
of
work.
true. I mean, it's not true. You can't say that.
I don't know. I think the decisions of cheating are very they're it's on the cheater. I don't know. I just think like you can't blame it on anything else. I think it's more this. I think you got to break up with someone. You got to make a decision. If you're going to cheat, if you feel that urge and you're like I can't resist anymore, you have to break up. The cheating is the bad part. That's the lie of it.
Yes. The cheating is, I think,
Especially in today's world, you can find people who are into open whatevers if you want to. I think there was probably a time where, like, sometimes I wonder, if my dad could have been part of a world where people conceived of open relationships. Maybe, although I don't think he'd be cool with her doing it. But
it's just shystiness. I mean, it's not it's like a level of self-loathing that's like, do you really not have like the amount of self-love for yourself to be like, I'm going to arrest this, I'm going to suspend this feeling, I'm going to take care of my shit, I'm going to work my hardest, and it will still be there is a feeling of like a scarcity mentality with cheaters where they're like, I have to do this because it's my only chance to do it. And it's like, what world is that? Who cares? What are you going to just nut just to destroy your family? Or in the off chance that you just, even on the off chance you just make someone sad, is like, why bother?
Yeah,
Use
sure.
your hand, dude. And I think my family's a little like that, where it's a little like, or at least, the cheating thing where there's a feeling of like, you only have one life, play full out, you have to take every opportunity.
sure,
Yeah.
Which is like, sure, but
I understand the one life mentality. There's like
yes,
the concept
but
of just like
sex is sex. It's just the same. There's 3 versions. There's somebody you care about, there's somebody you hate, there's somebody you're all right with.
I thought you meant positions, and I was like missionary.
But pretty
Cowgirl,
much
doggy.
also. Pretty much. I mean, there's one type of orgasm, and it's pretty much the same. It's just like, I was talking to my friend who's a sex addict, and he was like, well, I was like, why are you doing this? And he was like, I want to be with this type of person, I won't miss out. I'm like, it's all the same. It doesn't matter. It's all either feels bad or it feels good.
Sure, but couldn't you say that about food? Couldn't you be like, why don't you just have turkey sandwiches forever?
I do feel that way about food. I do not eat out. I do not go to restaurants. I'm like this. I eat oatmeal. That is what I eat. I eat oatmeal and vegetables. I'm the bare minimum to just like keep me going.
That's how I describe monogamy: oatmeal and vegetables for the rest
Yes.
of
What are
your
you
life.
doing? Have steak occasionally. Be lucky you have it. But don't. It's all the same. It's all just salt. You know what I mean? It's all salt or sugar. That's all you want.
Let me look. Let's go on to our next segment.
This has gotta stop.
This has got to stop.
Sorry.
You okay, sweetheart?
Yeah.
This has got to stop. Something that's got to stop. Big, small, personal, general.
Oh wow, this has got to stop. There's like a new type of man who exists out in the world that is like a.
Is this like a beta man? So you have a bit where you describe like a man on stage that you can't stand, and every time I hear it, I go like, "Nah, I'm that man."
Which one? The woke cowboy?
I feel like you have a bit about like just a beta.
NPR beta cuck?
Yeah, and I'm like, that's me. I just hear that bit. I just hear you talking about like you're like, you know what, God fucking suck, and then you describe me to a T. I think it's something about not being able to install an air conditioner too. Maybe I'm making it up.
I've said a million things.
Yeah.
But I never. I mean,
It's just sometimes you'll talk about like guys on stage. I'm like, that's
Yeah, the guy who was like talking about trauma to me. He was like, and I couldn't. It was a trauma filibuster. Like I couldn't leave because he kept bringing up different traumatic stories. This has got to stop. No, but there's this new not podcasting, but like it's this new type of guy. It's in Brooklyn. It's like a patterned button-down shirt, a dog on a leash, a very gay affectation, and basically a lesbian girlfriend. And they are beards for each other, and it's just like what they do. It's how they live their lives. That has got us. It's like a new thing that's happening. That man, he has to come out of the closet. That woman needs to be free to eat snatch. It needs to happen.
okay. But
Am I triggering
what if you see again? I feel like we're close to me.
No, it's
I'm not a
different.
dog.
You don't have
no,
a
but
dog.
I'm saying like if you looked at Tova and me,
Yes.
there are certain traits like Tova. If someone's gonna get in a confrontation physically with someone who's like fucking with us, it's gonna be Tova, and I would be the one like, no, baby, no. So we are. I feel like she has some more masculine traits, and I have some more feminine traits, and we found love within that.
Mhm.
I would say the same about you and your wife.
Yeah.
But you do
And you
things
do
to
have the
make up
dog.
for this.
I do.
Yes, you do that. You work out, you hustle, you get your money, you do these things.
Sure.
I'm talking about the veal men in Brooklyn who have a tiny little dog, and they are like, you are like 100% sure they are gay, and they are talking about, they are writing like for, culture articles for fucking Vice or whatever, and they are just. They're scared to go outside. Like, they don't take the train. You know what I mean? And they're just brutal.
They're still wearing a mask sometimes.
Yes, I just want it to stop. There is...
We're going to get a comment just for me saying that. Just so we all know, on the YouTube, someone's going to say, don't mask shame.
Don't mask shame.
Yes, they're still wearing masks. That's exactly what I'm talking about, though. They have a stupid little bandana around their dog or some shit. You make up for it, right? You keep your body in good health. You probably lay it down in the bedroom. You work your fucking ass off. You know what I mean?
Sure.
Like, sure, you're a theater gay guy.
Yeah,
but
sure, I'm gay.
You do make up for it.
But make up for another way.
You don't wear shirts with little, botanical cactuses on it like a fag. Sorry,
Oh,
sorry.
God
I'm
damn
sorry.
it.
We'll bleep that one.
You could say like a. Yeah.
No, I mean, we should.
I can
It's up to
say
you. It's up to you. You have all the
Yeah,
moms.
it's her.
You have enough moms. 3 moms.
All my moms are fags.
All her moms. Do I have one? Yeah, I have one.
Yeah, quick.
I got one. Okay, on streaming platforms. This has got to stop.
Do it.
This has got to stop.
Say the real. This
Okay,
has
this
got
has got to stop. The cutesy categories on streaming platforms used to be just like action, comedy, drama. Now it's like, at first it started off with like girls' night in.
Rom-com after a
But
nice
now
bath.
it's like, it's like very limiting because it's not
Dude.
describing the fucking movie anymore. It's describing the person. It's like, hey, it's been a long day in the sun, fat girl. Take a night off. Like, it's like queer dad's night in. Like, it's just like
What's
it's
triggering is
so-
it's describing you sometimes, right?
yeah.
That's what, for me, where it's like,
It's like you just did 2 off-Broadway shows in a blouse, and you just need to
Totally.
relax.
Yeah.
sometimes it's like depressing night after a breakup, and I'm like, fuck you, I'm watching it, but fuck you.
Yeah.
I hate that.
I just hate the cutesiness. You're like, because then you see the category and you're like, I'm not gonna fucking look at that category. But maybe I would want to see a movie in that category sometime. But the categories are not appealing to me. So
totally agree.
I hate that.
This has got to stop. I did a show. I was headlining in Fort Wayne, and my feature is black, and he was driving me home.
We're all
And
I fell for my feature who was in Fort Wayne. Totally. And then
Yeah?
I was like, I can't hook up with this dude because it's exploitative.
okay,
Who
well,
was
this
your
is
feature?
this has got to stop.
Okay.
I need to look up his name. I'm going to use the story. But we were getting along. He was driving me back to the hotel, and
There's black people in Fort Wayne.
he was visiting from another place.
gotcha.
To be fair, but he was driving me home, and a white guy came up to the window. He had seen the show, and he had been very complimentary. And he comes up and he goes, "Hey, great show, great show. I got a joke for you."
Oh boy.
And we're both the second he said it, I go, "It's gonna be racist. I know it. I just know it."
And black guy's there.
And black guy's there, and he's driving, and he goes, driving Miss Daisy. If you're going to be racist, at least don't be lazy about it. It is not driving Miss Daisy. I'm a white man. I'm not old. I'm in the front seat. This is not like driving Miss Daisy at all, other than there's just a black person and a white person and a car.
He just pointed to you guys and said, driving Miss Daisy.
And that was the joke. And he said, you can use that. Feel free to use that. You don't have to credit me.
You got to bring him up on stage.
I really need it to stop. Anybody listening to this, if you have comedians in your life, don't say you can use this. Just don't say you can use this.
I was focusing more on the racism aspect.
Whatever about racism.
But
that's Indiana.
It's literally you'll be at a lunch, the salt will fall over, and they'll laugh and they'll be like, well, now this is going to go in one of your sketches. Like what would that sketch look like?
Or what about this?
What would that look like?
When they go like this and when they go, you're like, yeah, it really sucks. I have to, do this horrible thing that I don't want to do, go to a friend's funeral. And they're like, well, at least you'll get material. I'm like, no, I don't want to do this. There's no upside.
My mom does that all the time. Yeah. She also does. She does if I go like I'm having the worst day ever, and she goes, I hope so. Meaning, I hope this is the worst and it all gets better. I'm like, shut. She listens. I love you, Mom.
Yeah, my mom goes that. Well, not that's. What did she say? You're. What did she say?
Mike James is his name. Mike James is his name. Very good comic. Has a special out. I forget what it's called, but check it out. Mike James. But I think the worst part is like he was telling me people go up to him and they go LeBron, and he's a black guy. He has a beard. LeBron is very tall, and he's just like a regular height. And I think like here's what it is. I think white people go, oh, I know you're not supposed to compare, but they really look like that person. And here's the thing. You could be right. You could be right. You might see an Asian person that looks really like a specific celebrity, and maybe you're right.
How often does this really happen, though?
Oh, I think Bowen Yang did a post once. He's like, please stop telling me I met someone who looks like me. Because even if you're right, you have to understand that white people have an impulse. A lot of white people have an impulse to like be like, you look like that. And even if you're right, too many people are doing it.
Yeah.
Too many people are doing it, and that's how they engage in conversation.
Yeah.
And it's annoying. So keep it to yourself.
Yeah.
Share it with share it with one of your white friends.
Share it with a white friend.
Share it with a white friend. Hey, try Miss Daisy. Take a picture. You send it to them. This has got to stop. Yeah. Final section. We got to move this along because an AC's getting installed.
You better count your blessing.
You better count your blessing. Russell, do you have a blessing?
Yeah. As you know, I've gotten into Gatorade recently. And I was really upset because for a long time I could only find white and blue Gatorade, and I don't like those flavors. But I found a place right near the theater I do the shows at that sells only red. So
only red.
I'm thankful for that place.
That's great. You want to plug them? Give their name some business, or
no?
You don't even
it's just
fucking
like a bodega. I don't know the name.
Sure. Jordan, do you have I'll do my blessing. Other than, I feel like we weren't like chatting for a while. I feel like
you.
Gianmarco, listen.
I think it was both of us.
No.
Listen.
I
think we.
Listen.
Dude, I had said out loud multiple times to other people. I've been like, "Is he all right?"
I said out loud to multiple people. I said, "I think Jordan doesn't like me."
Let me intervene because I don't know either. I don't know. Well, I know you. I don't know you.
I don't know. I know,
and I know you. You listen. Even when you think you're nothing's going on, you can be very closed off and very like insular, and it gives a vibe to people that they can't approach you. And so I don't think you know that sometimes.
Sure.
But even I know you well, so I can break through it. But if people don't know you as well, they're not going to try to break through it. Why the fuck would they care?
I have tried to break through it, though. I have been like, what's going on? What's up? And you're like, you know.
I felt like the time we were closest, I was going to Innovative. We ran into each other on Park Avenue South, and you invited me to your birthday. And I couldn't do it because I was headlining. We saw each other on the street once. And then I felt like it was just downhill from there. But we're back.
This is how I feel. The Cellar, first of all, I go through depressive episodes where I cannot talk to anybody at the Cellar.
Okay.
I'm hiding.
Okay.
I am hiding.
Okay.
But I usually hide. You sit down and I always say, how's it going? What's up? Why do you look sad? And you're like, it's going. You were like that to the point, and I didn't think you were mad at me. I just thought you were depressed or something was going on.
Sure.
And then we went to Moon Tower, and me and Tova bonded over that stupid bitch. Remember? That stupid little girl.
Oh, yes, you guys went to town.
Yes, yeah.
Who
And
is
that's
it?
also,
No.
dude, my fucking hotel room was right next to Tova and Gianmarco. It was crazy. That was,
Shut the fuck
it was, dude, all day networking to each other, spitballing ideas.
I
It was
thought
like
you were
two
talking
people.
about
Oh, I thought you were about to make a
Yes,
sex joke.
and then at night, it was just, dude, it was like two people on Adderall for 20. It was like you guys were railing lines of coping, being like, yeah, and I really think that you should do this, and I think you should do this, but you should do this, and this is a good idea. And then just sex. And I was like, they are perfect for each other. They are Energizer bunnies, hustlers. Like, they are the power
This is my
couple.
manager, so we'll.
Okay, well, my
It was
blessing is
epic.
my blessing is that, and one of the nice things about podcasts, I feel we're in communion now.
But don't you feel like you go through depressive episodes where you're in and out of it?
No doubt.
Right. So anytime you see me and I'm like, what's up? That means if I have to talk to somebody here, if one person talks to me, I will kill myself. You know what I mean? You know when
Sure.
you go into the cellar and you're like, if the door guy fist bumps me, it's over. I'm going to blow everything up. You know what I mean?
Sure.
Sometimes and I hide in the balcony sometimes, but then somebody comes up and they go, are you hiding? And I say, yes. And then they sit down and talk to me. Crazy.
Sure.
It's hard doing a job where you have to socialize the whole time.
I'm more a bitch if I have a bad set. It is virtually impossible for me to
Oh,
be
I
like,
wanna
I'll be
divulge.
okay and I can talk to people now. I feel I truly collapse if it's a bad set.
You need to get that bad sets are good for you. You gotta get that.
Yeah.
You really do have to wrap your head around that because you'll drive yourself nuts and you'll get into like a car.
It's hard to get used to them because they're just so infrequent.
I know. I actually think that that's true with you, but you should know that they're so infrequent.
Listen,
But
I
when-
push it. I work new stuff.
No,
that what you were saying?
No. I'm saying,
Oh.
Jesus Christ, Jesus, we are.
I
Very
thought you were
similar.
saying that
I
I'm
know
just
what you
like
thought.
I'm
saying-
his is doing the same jokes.
I'm saying no. I'm saying because it's infrequent, you should be happy when it happens because it is a growth spurt.
That's a good way to look at it.
Yeah.
You hear that, Tova?
I mean, this
Tell
is
me
my
that next
own-
time I'm crying. Real quick, let's plug things. What do you want to plug, Russell? This is coming out August 15th.
Oh, nothing to plug right now.
Nothing to plug.
Dynasty Typewriter, Uncle Function, Wednesday, September 27th.
For me, I am headlining Kansas City Comedy Club August 17th through 19th. Then I will be headlining The Punchline in San Francisco August 24th through August 26th. And, oh my God, the AC is here. September 25th headlining. Why am I doing any more? Jordan, anything you want to plug?
Please subscribe to my YouTube. For the love of God, I have a half hour coming on it. Jordan Jensen, LOL, stop on YouTube. Please subscribe. Hit the subscribe button.
And remember, everyone's going to cheat. Everyone's going to die. This is the downside. Oh, wrong button.
1, 2, 3. Downside. You're listening to The Downside
The Downside.
with Gianmarco Soresi.
Tell him, Russell.
Subscribe to The Downside right now.
Where?
Down here. Or here. We don't know, but just do it.
Or also, what else could they do?
They could follow the Patreon. They could subscribe to the Patreon.
No!
Sorry.
Patreon.com/downside.
Too much pressure.